CompTIA Network Plus N10-009 Practice Exam. Assuming that you have studied and are now well-versed in all the topics outlined in the CompTIA Network Plus exam objectives, then you are ready for the next step in your certification journey. This video is filled with 200-plus questions that closely resemble the real exam and will help you to gauge your readiness. So are you prepared to test your knowledge? Great, let's begin. Question 1. A network engineer is configuring dual trunk connections between two switches to provide redundancy and increase bandwidth. Which of the following configurations would be the most appropriate? The answer is C. Use LACP and tag VLANs. LACP, or Link Aggregation Control Protocol, enables multiple physical links to be combined into a single logical connection, providing increased bandwidth and redundancy. Additionally, it dynamically manages link failures, ensuring continuous connectivity. As for VLAN tagging, this is necessary on trunk ports to allow multiple VLANs to be identified and transmitted across the link. Without tagging, VLAN traffic would not be properly separated, leading to communication issues between connected switches. Question 2. A network technician is troubleshooting a connectivity issue and systematically checks each layer of the OSI model to determine the root cause. Which of the following troubleshooting steps does this process best represent? The answer is A. Establish a theory. Establishing a theory involves analyzing the problem and identifying potential causes, which may include systematically working through the OSI model to pinpoint the issue. This step helps determine whether the problem is related to physical connections, network settings, or application layer issues. Once a likely cause is identified, the technician can proceed with testing the theory. Question 3. A technician is troubleshooting a voice-over-IP phone that is unable to connect to the network. However, a laptop connected to the same port functions correctly. The technician needs to determine which switch and port the phone is connected to. Which of the following tools should the technician use? The answer is A. LLDP. LLDP, or Link Layer Discovery Protocol, allows network devices to advertise their identity and connection details, helping technicians determine which switch and port a device is connected to. This is particularly useful when troubleshooting voice-over-IP phones, as it can reveal whether the handset is correctly linked to the network. LLDP runs at the data link layer and provides essential information such as port ID, VLAN assignment, and device capabilities. Question 4. A network administrator needs to configure a file server for user access. The organization uses DHCP to assign IPv4 addresses but wants the file server to always receive the same address. Which of the following is the best solution? The answer is B. Create a DHCP reservation for the server based on its MAC address. A DHCP reservation ensures that a specific device always receives the same IPv4 address by associating it with the device's MAC address. This allows administrators to manage IP assignments centrally while maintaining consistency for critical network services like file sharing. Using DHCP reservations also prevents IP conflicts and ensures the server remains accessible at a predictable IP address within the DHCP-managed network. Question 5. Which of the following technologies is closely tied to N10-009 certificates? The answer is A. PKI. PKI, or Public Key Infrastructure, is closely tied to N10-009 certificates because it provides the framework for creating, managing, distributing, and revoking them. N10-009 certificates serve as the standard format for digital certificates within PKI, allowing secure authentication and encryption in network communications. PKI ensures the integrity and trust of these certificates through certificate authorities, which validate and sign them. Without PKI, N10-009 certificates would lack a structured trust model for secure digital interactions. Question 6. A network administrator needs to provide temporary network access for guests while ensuring they authenticate before gaining full connectivity. Which of the following technologies would best facilitate this process? The answer is C. Captive portal. A captive portal provides web-based authentication, requiring users to log in or accept terms before accessing the network. It is commonly used for guest Wi-Fi in businesses, hotels, and public hotspots. The portal enforces authentication, tracks usage, and restricts access based on predefined policies. Users are redirected to a login page where they must accept terms before gaining full access. This helps maintain security and control over temporary users without requiring long-term credentials. Question 7. A single user is unable to access a website because the provided URL is resolving to the wrong IP address. Other users can navigate to the site without issue. Which of the following is most likely the cause? The answer is C. Host file has been modified. The host file is a local text file that maps domain names to specific IP addresses. If this file has been modified with incorrect entries, it can override normal DNS resolution and cause the URL to resolve to the wrong IP address. Since the issue affects only one user, it is likely this is a local configuration problem, such as the host file, rather than a network-wide issue. Question 8. The cloud service provider hosts multiple organizations on a shared infrastructure, while keeping their data and resources isolated from one another. This approach allows cost savings and resource efficiency, while ensuring each organization's applications remain independent. Which of the following concepts best describes this model? The answer is A. Multi-tenancy. Multi-tenancy is a cloud architecture where multiple customers, referred to as tenants, share the same infrastructure while maintaining data and resource isolation. This design optimizes resource utilization and lowers costs by allowing multiple organizations to use the same hardware and software environment. Each tenant's data and configurations remain secure and separate through the use of virtualization and access controls. Multi-tenancy is a key feature of modern cloud computing, ensuring scalability and efficient management of computing resources. Question 9. A network technician needs to remotely access a network appliance that has failed to boot properly and is unresponsive to standard network connections. Which of the following methods should be used? The answer is D. Out-of-band management. Out-of-band management provides a dedicated independent access path to network devices, allowing administrators to troubleshoot and recover systems that are unresponsive to standard network connections. This is typically achieved using serial console servers, remote management interfaces, or a separate management network. It ensures access even when the primary network is down or the device has failed to boot properly. Question 10. A security analyst is investigating an attack where a malicious packet with multiple VLAN tags was used to bypass network segmentation. Which of the following attack types was most likely used? The answer is B. VLAN hopping. VLAN hopping is an attack where a malicious packet is crafted with multiple VLAN tags to gain unauthorized access to traffic from different VLANs. This is typically done using switch spoofing or double tagging techniques. Proper switch configuration, including disabling unused trunk ports and enforcing VLAN access controls, can help mitigate this form of attack. Question 11. A network administrator is configuring a new switch and needs to connect multiple ports to a core switch in an effort to increase redundancy and bandwidth. Which of the following configurations would best meet this requirement? The answer is B. Link aggregation. Link aggregation combines multiple physical links into a single logical connection to increase bandwidth and provide redundancy between switches. This prevents bottlenecks and allows traffic to be dynamically distributed across multiple links. Protocols like LACP or Link Aggregation Control Protocol help manage this process automatically, ensuring efficient load balancing and failover protection. Question 12. A system administrator is configuring an email client to send messages securely using encryption. To ensure outgoing emails are properly secured, which of the following ports should be used? The answer is B. 587. Port 587 is used for SMTPS, also known as SMTP, with TLS encryption, to securely transmit outgoing emails. Using this form of the SMTP protocol ensures messages are encrypted during transmission, preventing interception by unauthorized parties. Most modern email providers require port 587 for secure email submission, as it enforces security best practices and prevents emails from being sent over unencrypted channels. Question 13. After a security audit revealed unauthorized access to sensitive data, the company wants to improve its overall network security by enforcing stricter user policies. Which of the following would be the best to implement? The answer is A. Least privileged network access. Least privileged network access ensures that users and devices only have the minimum permissions necessary to perform their tasks, reducing the risk of unauthorized access. By limiting access to only what is required, organizations can better protect sensitive data and minimize potential security breaches. Question 14. A company is implementing a VPN solution for remote employees and wants to minimize the impact on its internal network bandwidth. Which of the following features of a split-tunnel VPN provides a cost-effective advantage? The answer is C. Internet-based traffic flows outside of the company's network. A split-tunnel VPN routes only necessary traffic through the corporate network while allowing internet-based traffic, such as cloud services, web browsing, and streaming, to go directly to the internet. This reduces bandwidth consumption on the company's network, lowering costs and improving performance for business-critical applications. Question 15. A network technician is investigating voice call quality issues reported by remote employees using a voice over IP application. The office has 2 internet links configured for load balancing. Which of the following tools should the technician use to determine which link is handling the voice over IP traffic? The answer is D. TraceRT. The TraceRT command maps the path that packets take to reach a destination, showing each hop along the route. In a dual-link load balance environment, this command can help determine which internet link is handling the voice over IP traffic by revealing the next hop gateway. Question 16. A company's IT department has received reports that employees attempting to access the corporate website are being redirected to a malicious site. Which of the following attacks is most likely responsible? The answer is C. DNS poisoning. DNS poisoning, also known as DNS cache poisoning, occurs when an attacker manipulates DNS records to redirect users attempting to visit a legitimate website to a fraudulent one. This technique is commonly used to steal credentials or distribute malware. Because DNS poisoning affects name resolution at the DNS level, users unknowingly connect to the attacker's site instead of the intended destination. Question 17. A network administrator notices unusual traffic patterns and determines that a switch's content addressable memory table is being overflowed intentionally. Which of the following attacks is the threat actor using? The answer is B. MAC flooding. MAC flooding is an attack where a threat actor overwhelms a switch's CAM table with a high volume of fake MAC addresses. When the table reaches capacity, the switch defaults to broadcasting all network traffic to every port. This allows the attacker to intercept data that would normally be sent only to intended recipients, enabling further attacks such as packet sniffing or man-in-the-middle attacks. Question 18. A company's office has an open workspace with active network ports at employee desks. A security audit found that unauthorized visitors could connect personal devices to the corporate network using these ports. Which of the following should the company implement to prevent this in the future? The answer is C. NAC. Network Access Control, or NAC for short, enforces security policies by verifying and restricting device access before allowing network connectivity. It can prevent unauthorized devices, such as a visitor's laptop, from connecting to the corporate network by enforcing authentication and compliance checks. NAC solutions help secure wired and wireless networks by ensuring only approved and trusted devices can gain access. Question 19. A user reports losing access to a remote file server. The network administrator confirms the server is reachable via ping and that firewall rules do not block access to the network file share. Which of the following tools would help determine which ports are open on the remote file server? The answer is D. Nmap. Nmap is a network scanning tool used to identify open ports and active services on a remote system. since the administrator has already confirmed that the server is reachable and firewall rules are not blocking access. Nmap can help determine whether the necessary ports for file sharing are open and responding. This is useful in troubleshooting connectivity issues related to specific services. Question 20. Which of the following technologies is the best choice to listen for requests and distribute user traffic across multiple web servers? The answer is A. Load balancer. A load balancer distributes incoming traffic across multiple web servers, ensuring efficient resource utilization, improved performance, and high availability. By evenly spreading user requests, it prevents server overload, reducing latency and improving response times. Load balancers also provide failover capabilities, rerouting traffic to available servers if one becomes unresponsive. This ensures minimal downtime and supports scalability for varying workloads. Question 21. A company is hosting a secure server that requires all connections to be encrypted. After performing a scan of the device, the following ports were found to be open: 22, 80, 443, and 587. In an effort to harden the device, which of the following ports should be disabled? The answer is B. 80. Port 80 is used for unencrypted HTTP traffic. Since the server requires all connections to be encrypted, HTTP should be disabled in favor of HTTPS, the secure encrypted version of HTTP. Disabling port 80 ensures that users cannot accidentally connect to the server over an unencrypted channel. Question 22. A network technician has successfully confirmed the root cause of an intermittent connectivity issue affecting multiple users. Before proceeding with implementation, what should the technician do next? The answer is A. Develop a step-by-step resolution plan. After confirming the root cause of an issue, the next step is to establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and identify potential effects. This involves outlining corrective actions, assessing risks, and ensuring minimal disruption to operations. Rushing into a fix without planning can cause unexpected issues or system instability. A well-documented plan ensures a smooth resolution process and reduces the likelihood of further complications. Question 23. A network administrator is setting up a new switch and needs to restrict access so that only authorized devices can connect. Which of the following should the administrator configure? The answer is C. Enable port security. While training an AI to randomly decide which devices should be trusted might be a fun experiment, real-world security requires strict controls, not random decisions. As for the correct answer, port security restricts access to switch ports by allowing only devices with specific MAC addresses to connect. If an unauthorized device is detected, the switch can take configured actions, such as blocking the port, limiting connectivity, or sending alerts. By enabling port security, unauthorized access can be prevented and overall network security can be enhanced. Question 24. A network administrator is setting up a subnet for a department that requires 6 usable IP addresses without waste. Which of the following subnet masks will best meet this requirement? The answer is D. 255.255.255.248. A subnet mask of 255.255.255.248 provides 8 total IP addresses, but only 6 are usable after reserving 1 IP for the network address and 1 IP for the broadcast address within the subnet. This makes it the most efficient choice, meeting the requirement without wasting additional IP space. Question 25. A network engineer is conducting a site survey to assess the strength of Wi-Fi signals throughout a building. Which of the following tools would be used to visually represent the effectiveness of the wireless coverage? The answer is D. Heat map. A heat map is a graphical representation of wireless coverage displaying signal strength across different areas of a building. These maps are created using wireless site survey tools, which measure signal strength at various locations to produce a color-coded visualization. Green areas typically indicate strong signals, while yellow, orange, and red zones show weaker coverage. Heat maps help optimize access point placement and eliminate dead zones to ensure reliable connectivity. Question 26. A company wants to migrate its infrastructure to a cloud-based model that allows multiple unrelated organizations to share resources while being managed entirely by a third-party provider. Which of the following deployment models would be best in this scenario? The answer is C. Public. A public cloud is a third-party managed cloud service where multiple unrelated organizations share the same infrastructure. It offers scalability, cost efficiency, and flexibility, making it a popular choice for businesses that do not require a dedicated environment. Unlike a community cloud, which is shared among organizations with common regulatory needs, a public cloud is available to any subscriber. Question 27. A company is expanding its office network and wants to enable communication between VLANs assigned to different departments. The network administrator decides to configure an SVI on a Layer 3 switch. Which of the following best describes an SVI in this scenario? The answer is A. A virtual interface that enables Layer 3 routing between VLANs. SVI, or Switch Virtual Interface, is a logical interface that allows Layer 3 switches to route traffic between VLANs without needing a separate router. By using an SVI, different departments on separate VLANs can communicate efficiently while maintaining network segmentation. This method reduces congestion and improves performance by keeping inter-VLAN traffic within the switch. Question 28. A network administrator is upgrading a company's wireless infrastructure. To minimize interference while deploying multiple access points in the 2.4 GHz band, which of the following sets of channels should be used to avoid overlap? The answer is B. 1, 6, and 11. In the 2.4 GHz wireless spectrum, channels overlap due to their frequency width, which can cause interference between nearby access points. The only three non-overlapping channels in the standard 20 MHz channel width are 1, 6, and 11. Using these non-overlapping channels ensures that adjacent access points do not interfere with each other, leading to a more stable and efficient wireless network. Question 29. Which of the following network cables transmits data by reflecting light within its core cladding boundary to support simultaneous data streams? The answer is D. Multimode. Multimode fiber optic cables have a larger core that supports multiple light paths traveling simultaneously. These signals reflect off the core cladding boundary at different angles, enabling high bandwidth transmission over shorter distances. This design makes multimode fiber ideal for high-speed connections in local networks, data centers, and campus environments. Question 30. A network administrator needs to monitor inbound traffic for potential attacks while ensuring network latency remains unaffected. Which of the following technologies would best meet this requirement? The answer is B. IDS. An IDS, or intrusion detection system, passively monitors network traffic, identifying suspicious activity and logging security events without impacting the flow of data. Since an IDS operates out of band, it does not introduce latency, making it ideal for analyzing attack patterns while preserving network performance. Simply put, an IDS is designed for observation and alerting rather than real-time intervention. Question 31. A network administrator is troubleshooting intermittent Wi-Fi dropouts reported in an office break area. Users mention that their connections frequently fail whenever someone heats food in the microwave. Which of the following frequency bands is most likely in use? The answer is A. 2.4 GHz. The 2.4 GHz frequency band is widely used for Wi-Fi, but also shares its spectrum with devices such as microwaves, baby monitors, and cordless phones. Microwaves operate in the 2.4 GHz range, and if they have insufficient shielding or are poorly maintained, they can leak radio frequency interference. This interference can overpower Wi-Fi signals, causing signal degradation, dropped connections, or reduced performance in nearby wireless devices. Question 32. The company is moving to a virtualized infrastructure and needs to implement switching, routing, and firewall services within its hypervisor environment. Which of the following would best meet this requirement? The answer is C. NFV. NFV, Network Functions Virtualization, enables switching, routing, firewall functionalities, and other network services to run as software within a virtualized environment. Instead of using dedicated hardware appliances, NFV allows these functions to be deployed as virtualized instances on a hypervisor, enhancing scalability and flexibility. This technology is widely used in modern data centers and cloud environments to reduce physical infrastructure costs and improve network agility. Question 33. A network technician is tasked with connecting patch cords from a UTP patch panel to an access switch in a newly occupied office space. However, the patch panel lacks labeling for jack identification. Which of the following tools would provide the best way to trace and identify the correct patch panel port? The answer is A. Tone generator and probe. A tone generator and probe work together to trace unmarked network cables. The tone generator sends an audible signal through the wire, while the probe detects the signal at the other end, helping the technician identify which patch panel port corresponds to a specific wall jack. This method is much faster and more efficient than manually testing each cable, making it the best option for identifying ports in an unlabeled patch panel. Question 34. A company recently expanded its office space and added several new switches to improve network connectivity. Shortly after deployment, users report intermittent network slowdowns and connectivity drops. Upon investigation, the network administrator identifies redundant switch connections. Which of the following should the administrator do to prevent further issues? The answer is D. Enable spanning tree. Spanning tree protocol, or STP for short, prevents network loops by dynamically blocking redundant switch connections that could cause broadcast storms and packet duplication. Without STP, redundant links between switches can lead to excessive traffic and degraded performance. Enabling STP ensures stable network operation by allowing only a single active path while keeping backup paths available for failover. Question 35. A network administrator is optimizing routing protocols to improve failover times in the event of a primary link failure. The chosen protocol should support a backup route that is pre-calculated and immediately available. Which of the following routing protocols meets this requirement? The answer is D. EIGRP. EIGRP, or Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, uses a dual-path selection mechanism with successor and feasible successor routes. The successor is the best path to a destination, while the feasible successor is a pre-calculated backup route that meets feasibility conditions. If the primary route fails, EIGRP instantly switches to the feasible successor, reducing downtime and improving network resilience. Other routing protocols, such as OSPF and IS, require recalculation before selecting an alternative route. Question 36. A company wants to allow multiple internal devices to share a single public IP address when accessing the internet. Which of the following technologies should be implemented? The answer is C. Port address translation. Port address translation is a form of network address translation that enables multiple devices on a private network to share a single public IP address by assigning unique port numbers to each session. This method allows organizations to optimize the use of limited public IP addresses while maintaining connectivity for all internal users. Port address translation is commonly implemented on a perimeter router, translating internal private IP addresses into a single public-facing IP address. Question 37. A university is upgrading its campus-wide wireless network to support a large number of students and staff using multiple devices. Which of the following 802.11 standards would best improve performance and coverage in this high-density environment? The answer is B. 802.11ax. The 802.11ax standard, also known as Wi-Fi 6, is designed to handle high-density environments by improving network efficiency and capacity. It introduces features like orthogonal frequency division, multiple access, and basic service set coloring, which enhance performance in congested areas such as universities, stadiums, and office buildings. Additionally, 802.11ax operates on both the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands, providing better range and throughput compared to previous Wi-Fi standards. Question 38. A network administrator is troubleshooting excessive network congestion and finds that a large amount of traffic is being sent to all devices in a subnet. Which of the following traffic types is most likely causing this issue? The answer is B. Broadcast. Within a subnet, broadcast traffic is sent to all devices, ensuring that essential communications reach every node. This is commonly used for functions such as address resolution, service advertisements, and legacy network protocols that rely on broad visibility. While effective for reaching multiple devices simultaneously, excessive broadcast traffic can cause network congestion, which is why segmentation techniques like VLANs are often implemented to limit its volume and impact. Question 39. A company is implementing a secure file transfer system and wants to ensure that data is encrypted before being transmitted over the network. Which OSI model layer is responsible for handling end-to-end encryption in this scenario? The answer is A. Presentation. The presentation layer is responsible for data encryption, decryption, compression, and format translation. It ensures that plaintext data is encoded into a secure format before transmission and properly decoded upon reception. In addition to encryption, this layer also handles character encoding differences between systems, ensuring that data is properly formatted regardless of the platform or software used. Question 40. A security analyst is investigating unusual data transfers between an internal server and external hosts. The analyst wants to inspect the actual packet contents for signs of data exfiltration in real time without disrupting network traffic. Which of the following methods would provide the necessary visibility? The answer is D. Port mirroring. Port mirroring allows network administrators to duplicate traffic from one or more switch ports and send it to a monitoring device, such as an intrusion detection system or packet analyzer. This enables detailed inspection of data content, including packet payloads, making it an essential tool for monitoring network security and troubleshooting issues. Question 41. The company is currently using a full-tunnel VPN solution. Which of the following best describes the functionality provided by this VPN setup? The answer is C. Corporate has the ability to inspect all network traffic. A full-tunnel VPN routes all network traffic from a remote user through the organization's VPN server before reaching its final destination. This ensures that all communication is inspected, logged, and subject to corporate security policies, such as content filtering and threat detection. While this enhances security and compliance, it can also increase bandwidth usage due to the added network overhead. Question 42. A company wants to ensure that downloaded files have not been altered in transit. Which of the following cryptographic concepts should be used to verify file integrity? The answer is A. Hashing. Hashing ensures data integrity by generating a unique, fixed-length value based on a file's contents. Even the smallest change to the data results in a completely different hash, making it an effective method for detecting unauthorized modifications. Organizations commonly use hashing to verify file integrity during downloads, data transfers, and authentication processes. Comparing a compute hash with a known good hash confirms that data remains unchanged. Question 43. A company is developing a disaster recovery strategy for business applications that can tolerate a short period of downtime. Which of the following disaster recovery site types would best meet this requirement? The answer is B. Warm. A warm site offers a balance between cost and recovery speed in disaster recovery planning. It includes pre-configured hardware and network infrastructure, making it partially ready for operations. However, unlike a hot site, it may still require additional setup, such as software installation or data restoration, before becoming fully functional. This makes it ideal for business applications that can tolerate a short period of downtime while ensuring faster recovery than a cold site. Question 44. A company is implementing a federated identity solution that enables users to authenticate once and gain access to multiple external applications. Which of the following security technologies is based on XML and is commonly used for this purpose? The answer is A. SAML. SAML, or Security Assertion Markup Language, is an XML-based standard used for exchanging authentication and authorization data between an identity provider and a service provider. It enables single sign-on by allowing users to authenticate once and gain access to multiple external applications without re-entering credentials. This improves security while enhancing the user experience. Question 45. A company is optimizing its network for faster convergence and efficient traffic distribution. The administrator wants to implement a routing protocol that supports unequal cost load balancing and operates using IP protocol number 88. Which of the following should be used? The answer is D. EIGRP. EIGRP, or Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, is a Cisco proprietary advanced distance vector routing protocol that operates using IP protocol number 88. It supports unequal cost load balancing, allowing traffic to be distributed across multiple paths with different metrics. Unlike traditional distance vector protocols, EIGRP considers multiple factors such as bandwidth, delay, reliability, and load when determining the best path, making it highly efficient for complex network environments. Question 46. A company is upgrading its wireless network to support centralized management of multiple access points through a wireless LAN controller. Which of the following wireless architectures should be implemented? The answer is B. Infrastructure. In an infrastructure wireless network, access points, or APs, are centrally managed by a wireless LAN controller, allowing for streamlined configuration, monitoring, and maintenance. This architecture ensures seamless roaming between APs, centralized security enforcement, and optimized network performance by dynamically adjusting radio frequencies and load balancing connections. It is commonly used in enterprise environments, campuses, and large office spaces, where multiple APs must be efficiently deployed and managed from a single control point. Question 47. A company is designing a wide area network that requires all branch offices to route their traffic through a centralized location before reaching other sites. Which of the following network topologies best meets this requirement? The answer is C. Hub and spoke. In a hub and spoke topology, all network traffic from remote locations is routed through a central hub before reaching other destinations. This design simplifies network management and centralizes security controls, but it can also create a single point of failure and introduce latency if the hub becomes overloaded. It is commonly used in WANs for branch office connectivity. Question 48. The company is experiencing network congestion and wants to ensure that voice and video traffic receive higher priority over standard data transfers. Which of the following technologies would best address this requirement? The answer is A. QoS. QoS, or quality of service, is used to prioritize network traffic based on traffic type, ensuring that latency-sensitive applications like voice over IP and video conferencing receive higher priority over other forms of data, such as file downloads or general web traffic. By classifying and managing traffic flows, QoS helps maintain consistent performance and prevents network congestion from impacting critical services. Question 49. A company needs to monitor network devices for performance metrics and status updates while ensuring that all management traffic is encrypted and authenticated. Which of the following protocols would best meet these security requirements? The answer is D. SNMP version 3. SNMP version 3, or Simple Network Management Protocol version 3, is a secure network management protocol used for monitoring and managing devices. Unlike earlier versions of SNMP, version 3 introduces encryption, authentication, and integrity checks to prevent unauthorized access and protect transmitted data from interception or tampering. These security enhancements make SNMP version 3 the preferred choice for environments that require confidentiality, data integrity, and secure network monitoring. Question 50. A network administrator is transferring the management of external DNS records to a new provider. Which of the following DNS record types should be updated at the registrar to complete this change? The answer is B. NS. NS or name server records specify the authoritative DNS servers responsible for a domain. When moving DNS management to a new provider, the administrator must update the MS records at the domain registrar to point to the new provider's DNS servers. This ensures that queries for the domain are correctly resolved by the new authoritative DNS servers. Question 51. A network administrator is configuring OSPF on a router and wants to ensure efficient communication of routing updates to multiple neighboring routers. Which of the following transmission methods does OSPF use for this purpose? The answer is C. Multicast. OSPF, or Open Shortest Path First, uses multicast to efficiently distribute routing updates to multiple routers within the same network segment. Instead of broadcasting updates to all devices, OSPF sends messages specifically to routers that are configured to participate in OSPF communication. It utilizes multicast addresses 224.0.0.5 for all OSPF routers and 224.0.0.6 for designated routers in order to ensure updates reach the correct devices while minimizing unnecessary traffic. Question 52. A company is optimizing its data center network to handle large file transfers more efficiently while reducing processing overhead. Which of the following configurations would best support this goal? The answer is B. Jumbo frames. Jumbo frames allow a storage network to transmit larger Ethernet frames, typically up to 9,000 bytes, instead of the standard 1,500 bytes. This reduces the number of frames required to send large amounts of data, lowering processing overhead and improving network efficiency. Jumbo frames are commonly used in storage area networks and high-performance computing environments where large data transfers occur frequently. However, all network devices in the data path must support jumbo frames to ensure compatibility. Question 53. A network administrator is configuring a static IP for a new server using the subnet 10.0.5.1/26. However, the network management system requires the subnet mask to be entered in dotted decimal format. Which of the following is the correct subnet mask to use? The answer is C. 255.255.255.192. Classless interdomain routing, or CIDR notation, such as /26, defines how many bits of an IP address are allocated to the network portion. A /26 subnet means the first 26 bits are reserved for network identification, leaving 6 bits for host addresses. When converted to dotted decimal notation, a /26 subnet corresponds to 255.255.255.192 as the first 2 bits of the last octet are used for the network. Question 54. An IT administrator is assessing the reliability of a critical network device and needs to determine the average operational lifespan before failure. Which of the following disaster recovery metrics would best provide this information? The answer is D. MTBF. MTBF, or mean time between failures, measures the average time a system or device operates before experiencing a failure or between subsequent failures. It is a key reliability metric used in disaster recovery and hardware planning, helping organizations predict when equipment might require maintenance or replacement. Question 55. A technician is troubleshooting an intermittent wireless connectivity issue reported by multiple users. After testing the theory and confirming the suspected cause, which of the following should the technician do next? The answer is B. Establish a plan of action. After confirming the root cause of the issue, the technician should establish a plan of action to implement the fix while minimizing disruption. This step ensures that any changes made to the network are carefully planned, reducing the risk of further issues. Once the plan is reviewed and approved, the technician can proceed with applying the fix. Question 56. A network administrator needs to configure a point-to-point connection between 2 routers. Which of the following subnet masks is most commonly used for this type of link? The answer is D. 255.255.255.252. Point-to-point connections between routers typically use a /30. subnet mask, which is the equivalent of 255.255.255.252 in dotted decimal notation. This subnet provides exactly two usable IP addresses, making it ideal for direct communication between two network devices. By using a /30 subnet, administrators minimize wasted IP space while maintaining efficient routing for WAN and private point-to-point network links. Question 57. A company is deploying multiple access points in a high-density office space where wireless interference is a concern. Which of the following channel widths would be the best choice to reduce overlap in the 2.4 GHz band? The answer is B, 20 MHz. In the 2.4 GHz spectrum, the 20 MHz channel width is the best option for minimizing interference in high-density environments. While wider channels can provide increased bandwidth in ideal conditions, they also cause greater channel overlap, leading to more interference and degraded network performance. Since the 2.4 GHz band has a limited spectrum, using 20 MHz channels allows for better coexistence with neighboring access points and other wireless devices operating in the same frequency range. Question 58. A network security engineer is deploying an intrusion detection system to monitor network traffic for threats. The appliance is connected to a free port on a switch, and the engineer needs to configure the switch to ensure the device can analyze all traffic. Which of the following is the best option for the engineer to enable? The answer is D, port mirroring. Port mirroring is used to copy all network traffic from one or more switch ports to another port where a monitoring device, such as an intrusion detection system, can analyze the traffic. This allows security tools to inspect network packets for potential threats without interfering with normal data flow. Now you may be thinking that you have already seen a port mirroring question earlier in this set of Network Plus questions, and if so, you would be correct. For some reason, CompTIA really likes to ask questions about this topic, and it is my job to help you prepare, so I figured why not double up on this type of question and be thorough. Don't worry, you can super thank me later. Question 59. A network administrator is deploying PoE security cameras in an office building. After successfully installing and testing network cabling, the administrator connects the cameras to the PoE switch. However, several cameras fail to power on. Which of the following is the most likely cause? The answer is A, power budget exceeded. A PoE, or Power over Ethernet switch, has a maximum power budget, which is the total amount of power it can provide across all connected PoE devices. If too many high-power devices, such as security cameras, are connected, the switch may not have enough wattage to power all the devices, causing some cameras to fail. This issue can be resolved by upgrading to a higher capacity PoE switch, redistributing devices across multiple switches, or using PoE injectors for additional power. Question 60. A network administrator is troubleshooting slow response times when users attempt to access an internal database. The administrator wants to analyze real-time packet captures to determine if network congestion or dropped packets are affecting performance. Which of the following tools would best allow the administrator to inspect traffic at the application layer of the OSI model? The answer is C, TCP dump. TCP dump is a command line packet capture tool that allows administrators to analyze network traffic in real time. It can capture and inspect application layer protocols such as HTTP, DNS, and database queries, making it useful for diagnosing latency and packet loss issues. The tool provides detailed packet-level visibility, allowing administrators to filter traffic by source, destination, port, or protocol. Additionally, TCP dump can save captured data to a file for further offline analysis. Question 61. A network technician needs to securely access the command line interface of a network switch over an untrusted network. Which of the following ports should be open to ensure encrypted remote access? The answer is A, 22. Port 22 is assigned to Secure Shell, a protocol designed for secure remote access to network devices. Secure Shell encrypts data transmissions, ensuring that login credentials and commands remain protected from interception. It is widely used for accessing the command line interface of network switches, routers, and servers, allowing administrators to configure and troubleshoot devices remotely with strong encryption and authentication. Question 62. A company experiences slow website load times for users in different regions. To improve performance and reduce latency, which of the following technologies should be implemented to cache and distribute web content closer to users? The answer is B. CDN. A CDN, or Content Delivery Network, is a distributed network of servers that caches and delivers web content closer to users based on their geographic location. By reducing the physical distance between users and web servers, CDNs minimize latency, improve website load times, and enhance the overall user experience. This technology is essential for websites with global audiences, as it helps balance traffic and prevent server overload. Question 63. A network engineer is expanding wireless coverage in an office to allow multiple devices to connect seamlessly within a designated WLAN. Which of the following devices should be deployed to extend wireless connectivity? The answer is B. Access point. An access point, or AP for short, extends the wireless network by allowing multiple devices to connect within a designated WLAN. It serves as a bridge between wireless clients and the wired network, ensuring seamless mobility and coverage. Question 64. An administrator is configuring a switch for a shared workspace where both employees and visitors have access. To prevent unauthorized devices from gaining network access, which of the following should the administrator implement? The answer is D. 802.1x. 802.1x is a network access control protocol that requires devices to authenticate before being granted access to the network. It is commonly used in enterprise environments to prevent unauthorized users from connecting to wired and wireless networks. By enforcing authentication at the switch or access point, 802.1x ensures that only approved devices can access the network, mitigating security risks in public or shared areas. Question 65. A network engineer is planning the installation of new Ethernet cabling across multiple floors of a building. Which of the following diagrams would provide details about connector types and cable runs? The answer is B. Physical. A physical diagram outlines the actual hardware layout of a network, including Ethernet cable types, connector specifications, and cable pathways. This type of diagram is crucial for network deployment, ensuring accurate cabling and connectivity for proper data transmission. Question 66. A financial services firm requires all remote employees to use a VPN when accessing internal systems. Which of the following is the most likely reason for enforcing this requirement? The answer is A. To encrypt sensitive data in transit. A VPN, or virtual private network, secures data transmissions by encrypting communications between remote users and the organization's internal network. This encryption ensures that sensitive information remains confidential in transit, preventing eavesdropping and data interception, particularly when connecting over unsecured or public networks. Question 67. An organization recently migrated its email servers to a new cloud-based platform. After the migration, users report they can no longer send or receive emails using the company's domain. Which of the following DNS records should be updated to resolve this issue? The answer is D. MX. An MX record directs email traffic to the correct mail server for a domain. When an organization moves its email servers to a new provider or a different IP address, updating the MX record is essential to ensure proper email delivery. Without updating the MX record, emails may continue to route to the old mail server, leading to undelivered messages. Question 68. Which of the following environmental factors should be considered to protect networking equipment from damage and ensure reliable operation? The answer is A. Humidity, temperature, and fire suppression. To ensure reliable operation and longevity of networking equipment, humidity control, temperature regulation, and fire suppression must be carefully managed. Proper humidity levels prevent static discharge and condensation, both of which can damage sensitive hardware. Temperature regulation helps prevent overheating, reducing the risk of failures and extending equipment lifespan. Fire suppression systems, specifically designed for electronics, protect network infrastructure without causing unnecessary damage. Question 69. A security engineer is setting up a new network appliance that will handle sensitive data. Before deploying it into the production environment, the engineer needs to follow best practices for securing the device. Which of the following should the engineer do first? The answer is D. Change default passwords. The first step in securing a newly deployed device is changing the default administrator credentials. Default passwords are widely known and often exploited by attackers to gain unauthorized access. By setting a strong, unique password, the security engineer ensures that unauthorized users cannot easily take control of the device. While configuring firewall rules, isolating the device, and disabling unused ports and services are also important security measures. Securing access credentials should be the highest priority and performed first. Question 70. A network engineer is tasked with establishing a high-speed backbone connection between two network distribution switches that are 165 meters apart. Which of the following cable types is the best choice for this deployment? The answer is B. Multi-mode fiber. For a distance of 165 meters, multi-mode fiber is the best option due to its ability to support high-speed data transmission over medium-range distances while minimizing signal loss. Multi-mode fiber is commonly used in enterprise networks for connecting switches and network closets where distances exceed the 100-meter limitation of Ethernet over twisted pair copper cables. Question 71. A company with multiple branch offices needs a scalable solution to securely interconnect its sites over the internet while simplifying deployment and management. Which of the following technologies would best meet this requirement? The answer is C. SD-WAN. SD-WAN, or Software-Defined Wide Area Network, is designed to securely connect multiple locations over the internet while reducing provisioning time and improving traffic optimization. It enables centralized control of network policies and dynamically selects the best path for data based on real-time conditions. This makes it ideal for organizations that require flexibility, security, and scalability across multiple sites without the complexity of traditional WAN technologies. Question 72. A multinational company operating in Europe is reviewing its policies for collecting, storing, and processing customer data. Which of the following regulations must the company comply with to ensure the proper handling of personal data? The answer is C. GDPR. The General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR for short, is a comprehensive data protection law enforced in the European Union to regulate the collection, processing, and storage of personal data. It grants individuals greater control over their data, requiring organizations to obtain explicit consent, ensure transparency, and implement security measures to protect personal information. GDPR also mandates strict breach notification policies and imposes significant penalties for non-compliance. Question 73. A company requires that all employees accessing the corporate Wi-Fi network must be individually authenticated and their activity logged for security auditing. Which of the following authentication methods would best meet this requirement? The answer is A. Implement enterprise authentication. Enterprise authentication ensures that each user accessing the wireless network is individually authenticated using unique credentials. This method allows administrators to enforce security policies, track user activity, and ensure that all network connections are tied to a specific individual. Unlike pre-shared keys or MAC address filtering, which lack user-level accountability, enterprise authentication provides strong access control and auditing capabilities. Question 74. A company is establishing fiber connectivity between two data center racks. After a technician completes the multimode fiber terminations and connects the fiber patch cables, the network equipment fails to establish a link. Which of the following should the technician do first? The answer is B. Check if the TX and ARX connections are transposed. When troubleshooting fiber connectivity issues, the first step should be to check if the transmit and receive connections are transposed. In fiber optic communication, one strand transmits data while the other receives it. If these connections are reversed at either end, the devices will be unable to establish a link. Question 75. A network technician is troubleshooting a connectivity issue between a user's workstation and an external web server. The technician suspects a problem with the routing path. Which of the following commands should be used to determine where the connection is failing? The answer is D, trace RT. The trace RT command is used to analyze the routing path between a source and destination. It shows each hop the packet takes along with latency for each step, helping identify network bottlenecks or points of failure. This is particularly useful for diagnosing routing issues where packets fail to reach their intended destination. Question 76. A network engineer is troubleshooting excessive interference in a newly installed Cat8 cabling system. The cables were properly routed, but connectivity tests show poor performance. Which of the following should the engineer perform first? The answer is A. Verify keystone jacks are wrapped with copper tape. Cat8 cables are engineered for high-speed data transmission and require proper shielding to minimize crosstalk and interference. To ensure effective shielding, the keystone jacks must be wrapped with copper foil tape before termination. This step is essential for maintaining proper grounding and shield continuity, which helps preserve signal integrity and prevent performance degradation. Without this shielding, the cable may experience increased noise, leading to higher error rates, reduced speeds, and overall network instability. Question 77. A company is deploying new voice-over IP phones, some of which support HD video calls. The network engineer is concerned that network congestion could degrade call performance if bandwidth usage spikes. Which of the following configurations should the network engineer implement to ensure overall network performance? The answer is B. Implement traffic rate limits. Traffic rate limits help regulate bandwidth usage across a network by setting maximum data rates for specific traffic types, or VLANs. This prevents a single application such as HD voice over IP calls from consuming excessive bandwidth and degrading overall network performance. By enforcing these limits, network congestion is reduced, latency is minimized, and critical applications receive the necessary resources to function efficiently. Rate limiting also enhances security by mitigating the impact of potential traffic spikes or network misuse. Question 78. A virtual machine has an IPv4 address of 169.254.10.10 and can communicate with other local systems, but is unable to access external addresses on the internet. Which of the following is the most likely root cause? The answer is D. The DHCP server is offline. An IP address starting with 169.254 indicates that the system has assigned itself an automatic private IP addressing or APIBA address. This happens when a DHCP server is unavailable or unresponsive. The APIBA address allows local communication within the same subnet, but does not provide a default gateway, meaning the device cannot reach external networks, including the internet. If this issue is encountered, the first troubleshooting step is to verify whether the DHCP server is online, properly configured, and reachable from the affected system. Question 79. A company wants to determine the maximum acceptable amount of data loss it can tolerate in the event of a system failure. Which of the following metrics should be used to establish this threshold? The answer is C. RPO. RPO, or Recovery Point Objective, defines the maximum acceptable amount of data loss measured in time before a disruption occurs. It helps organizations determine how often backups should be taken to minimize data loss in case of a failure. For example, if an RPO is set to 1 hour, backups should occur at least every hour to ensure minimal data loss. RPO is a key factor in business continuity planning and disaster recovery strategies. Question 80. A company needs to securely connect its branch offices over the internet while ensuring data encryption and integrity. Which of the following technologies provides the most secure site-to-site connectivity? The answer is D. IPsec. IPsec, short for Internet Protocol Security, is the most secure method for establishing site-to-site connectivity, as it provides encryption, authentication, and data integrity at the network layer. It ensures that all transmitted data is protected from eavesdropping, tampering, and unauthorized access. It is commonly used in VPNs to create encrypted tunnels between remote offices, allowing organizations to securely exchange data while mitigating security threats. Question 81. A network administrator is installing fiber optic cabling to connect a new server rack to the main distribution frame. Which of the following connector types is most commonly used to terminate fiber connections in this setup? The answer is D. SC. SC, or subscriber connector, is a widely used fiber optic connector recognized for its square design and push-pull locking mechanism, which ensures a secure and stable connection. It is primarily used in high-speed data networks, including enterprise environments, data centers, and telecommunications infrastructure. SC connectors are designed to handle high bandwidth and long-distance transmissions, making them a preferred choice for both single-mode and multimode fiber installations. Question 82. A network administrator is configuring a trunk link between two layer 2 switches. The switches must support traffic from multiple VLANs while maintaining network segmentation. Which of the following should be enabled to achieve this? The answer is B. 802.1q tagging. 802.1q tagging allows multiple VLANs to traverse a single network link by inserting a VLAN tag into Ethernet frames. This enables layer 2 switches to distinguish traffic from different VLANs while using the same physical connection. Without this form of tagging, switches would not be able to separate network traffic, leading to potential communication issues between different VLANs. Implementing 802.1q tagging ensures that data remains properly segmented and routed within a multi-VLAN environment. Question 83. Which of the following provides a private, dedicated connection to a cloud service provider, potentially bypassing the public internet and offering lower latency? The answer is A. Direct Connect. Direct Connect is a dedicated private network connection between an organization's on-premises infrastructure and a cloud provider. This solution improves performance by reducing latency and offering consistent bandwidth, making it ideal for enterprises that need reliable, high-speed access to cloud resources. However, additional security measures such as an encrypted overlay may be needed if data confidentiality is a concern. Question 84. Which of the following networking devices can function at multiple layers of the OSI model, depending on its configuration and capabilities? The answer is C. Switch. A layer 3 switch is capable of operating at both the data link layer, layer 2, and the network layer, layer 3, of the OSI model. While traditional switches function solely at layer 2 by forwarding frames based on MAC addresses, layer 3 switches incorporate routing functionality, allowing them to forward packets based on IP addresses. This makes them an essential component in high-performance networks, enabling VLAN routing and reducing the need for dedicated routers in certain scenarios. Question 85. A network administrator wants to ensure that guest users acknowledge the acceptable use policy before gaining internet access. Which of the following methods would best enforce this requirement? The answer is C. Captive portal. A captive portal is the most effective method for ensuring that users acknowledge and agree to the acceptable use policy before accessing a guest network. When a user connects, they are redirected to a web page where they must review and agree to the policy before gaining network access. This is commonly used in public Wi-Fi environments such as hotels, airports, and corporate guest networks to enforce security policies and prevent unauthorized use. For those of you that are keeping track, this is yet another topic duplicate. If you see a topic appear more than once in this practice question video series, it is probably a good idea to know the topic inside and out, as it has a higher probability of appearing when you take your official CompTIA certification exam. Question 86. A network administrator is configuring a router that must handle multiple VLANs while operating with a single physical interface. Which of the following would be the best solution to enable communication between VLANs in this scenario? The answer is A. Configure subinterfaces on the router. When a router has only one physical interface but needs to manage multiple VLANs, subinterfaces allow it to handle tagged VLAN traffic using the 802.1q standard. Each subinterface is assigned to a specific VLAN, enabling inter-VLAN communication without requiring additional physical ports. Question 87. An office has noticed a decline in productivity due to employees spending excessive time on social media during work hours. Management wants to restrict access to non-work-related websites while allowing necessary business functions. Which of the following should be implemented to address this concern? The answer is D. Configure content filtering. Content filtering is used to enforce acceptable use policies by restricting access to specific websites or categories, such as social media, during business hours. This is typically implemented through firewalls, proxy servers, or security appliances that inspect and filter network traffic based on predefined rules. Question 88. Which of the following methods allows for the management of network devices using a separate dedicated IP address space, ensuring access even when the primary network is down? The answer is D. Out-of-band. Out-of-band management provides a dedicated, isolated network for managing network devices using a separate set of IP addresses independent of the primary production network. This ensures that administrators can still access and troubleshoot devices even if the main network is experiencing connectivity issues. Out-of-band management is commonly used for remote management via dedicated management interfaces. Question 89. A network administrator needs to configure a static backup route to take over if the primary route fails. If dynamic routing is not being used, which of the following methods will determine which route is preferred? The answer is C. Administrative distance. Administrative distance, or AD for short, is used to determine the reliability of a route when multiple static routes exist. It assigns a priority to routes based on their source, with lower values being preferred. Since dynamic routing protocols are not used in this scenario, the administrator must configure a higher AD to ensure the backup route is only used when the primary route becomes unavailable. Question 90. A network administrator is deploying a new switch and wants to confirm that the default priority value for STP is correctly set. Which of the following values is the default STP priority for most switches? The answer is C. 32768. Spanning Tree Protocol, or STP for short, prevents network loops by electing a root bridge based on priority values. The default STP priority for most switches is 32768 unless manually configured otherwise. A lower priority value increases the likelihood of a switch becoming the root bridge. Priority values are typically set in increments of 4096, allowing administrators to influence root bridge selection in larger networks. Question 91. A network administrator is setting up a wireless network using an ESSID instead of an SSID. Which of the following benefits does an ESSID provide to users? The answer is B. Seamless roaming between access points. An ESSID, or Extended Service Set Identifier, allows multiple access points to broadcast the same SSID, enabling seamless roaming for devices without requiring reconnection. This is essential in enterprise environments and large buildings where continuous wireless coverage is needed. Unlike a standalone SSID, an ESSID extends the network across multiple APs, ensuring uninterrupted service as users move throughout the coverage area. Question 92. A network administrator is configuring a direct connection between two routers and needs to use the smallest possible subnet to conserve IP addresses. Which of the following subnet masks should be assigned? The answer is C. /30. A /30 subnet is the optimal choice for point-to-point connections because it provides exactly 4 total addresses with 2 usable IPs, one for each router, while still reserving IPs for the network and broadcast addresses. This subnetting method helps conserve valuable IP space, especially in environments using IPv4, where address efficiency is a priority. Many ISPs and enterprise networks use /30 subnets for WAN links between routers to minimize waste while ensuring proper routing functionality. Question 93. A security officer reviews footage showing an unauthorized individual entering a secure facility by closely following an employee through a locked door without providing credentials. Which of the following security risks does this scenario demonstrate? The answer is B. Tailgating. Tailgating is a physical security breach where an unauthorized person gains access to a restricted area by following an authorized individual without proper authentication. This often happens when employees hold the door open for others out of courtesy. To mitigate this risk, organizations can implement man-traps, security guards, or badge access turnstiles to ensure that each person entering a secure area is properly authenticated. Question 94. The financial institution is preparing for a surge in network traffic due to a recent expansion. The network currently supports multiple 5 gigabits per second fiber links, but the core infrastructure is only utilizing 2 gigabits per second per link. Which of the following configurations would allow the network to fully utilize the available bandwidth? The answer is D. Link aggregation. Link aggregation allows multiple physical network links to be combined into a single logical connection, effectively increasing throughput and redundancy. In this scenario, the institution's infrastructure is limited to 2 gigabits per second per link, even though 5 gigabits per second fiber connections are available. By implementing link aggregation, the network combines multiple links for increased bandwidth, distributing traffic efficiently and reducing bottlenecks. This additive effect enhances overall capacity while providing redundancy in case of link failure. Question 95. A network administrator is troubleshooting a voice-over IP phone that is connected to a switch port but is unable to receive calls. Which of the following configurations would most likely resolve the issue? The answer is C. Tag the traffic for the voice VLAN. Voice-over IP traffic requires proper VLAN tagging to ensure it is prioritized and correctly routed through the network. By tagging the traffic for the voice VLAN, the switch can distinguish voice data from regular network traffic, allowing for better quality of service and reduced latency. Without proper tagging, voice packets may not be processed correctly, leading to call failures or poor audio quality. Question 96. A network administrator is optimizing data transfers on a high-speed network and needs to enable support for jumbo frames. Which of the following devices would allow this configuration? The answer is D. Switch. Jumbo frames are Ethernet frames larger than the standard 1500 bytes, typically up to 9000 bytes, used to reduce overhead and improve performance in high-speed networks. Network switches that support jumbo frames can process these larger packets efficiently, reducing CPU utilization and increasing data throughput. However, all devices in the network path must also support jumbo frames to avoid fragmentation issues. Question 97. A network manager is deploying a security information and event management system to ensure accurate event correlation across multiple devices. Which of the following protocols is essential for maintaining synchronized timestamps in this scenario? The answer is A. NTP. NTP, or Network Time Protocol, is essential for ensuring that all systems in a network maintain synchronized time. Accurate timekeeping is crucial for log analysis, authentication mechanisms, scheduled tasks, and troubleshooting network issues. Without proper synchronization, logs from different devices can have mismatched timestamps, making it difficult to correlate events, diagnose security incidents, and maintain consistency across distributed systems. Question 98. A network engineer is setting up a secure VPN tunnel between 2 corporate offices. The tunnel must encrypt all transmitted data to maintain confidentiality. Which of the following protocols should be used to achieve this requirement? The answer is C. ESP. ESP, or Encapsulating Security Payload, is a core protocol in IPsec that provides encryption for data in transit, ensuring confidentiality. It encrypts the payload of IP packets, preventing unauthorized access and protecting sensitive information from interception. ESP can operate in transport mode, securing only the payload, or tunnel mode, encrypting the entire packet for VPN use. Question 99. Which of the following routing protocols has an internal administrative distance value of 90? The answer is D. EIGRP. EIGRP, or Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, has a default administrative distance of 90 for internal routes. This makes it more preferred than other interior gateway protocols like OSPF and RIP, as lower AD values indicate higher trustworthiness in route selection. Question 100. A network engineer receives a security advisory about a newly discovered vulnerability affecting a router's CPU. Which of the following actions should the engineer take to mitigate the issue? The answer is A. Apply a firmware update. Firmware updates are crucial for maintaining the security, stability, and performance of network devices like routers and switches. Manufacturers release updates to patch vulnerabilities, optimize functionality, and introduce new features that enhance network efficiency. Regular updates help mitigate security risks by addressing known exploits and ensuring compatibility with evolving protocols and standards. Keeping firmware current is a key best practice for protecting network infrastructure from potential threats. Question 101. Which of the following connector types is typically used for direct console access? The answer is B. RJ45. Most network switches provide console access through an RJ45 connector, allowing administrators to connect a computer via console cable for local configuration and troubleshooting. This direct connection is essential for initial setup, firmware updates, or recovery when remote access is unavailable. Question 102. A network administrator experiences persistent interference from industrial equipment operating in the 2.4 GHz frequency range, causing connectivity issues. Which of the following solutions would most effectively reduce the interference? The answer is A. Use the 5 GHz frequency band. Switching to the 5 GHz frequency band helps mitigate interference because it is less congested than the 2.4 GHz band and is not commonly used by industrial equipment. Unlike 2.4 GHz, which has only 3 non-overlapping channels and is shared with many household and industrial devices, 5 GHz offers more channels and wider bandwidth options. This reduces the likelihood of signal overlap and improves overall network stability. Question 103. Which network topology ensures that every node has a direct connection to every other node, providing redundancy and fault tolerance? The answer is A. Mesh. A mesh topology ensures that every node in the network is directly connected to every other node. This design provides high redundancy and fault tolerance as data can travel through multiple paths if one link fails. Mesh networks are commonly used in mission-critical environments where network uptime is a priority, such as industrial automation and military communications. However, the extensive cabling and configuration required makes it more expensive and complex compared to other topologies. Question 104. A data center manager is designing an airflow strategy to improve cooling efficiency and prevent overheating of equipment. Which of the following configurations provides the best thermal dissipation by optimizing airflow? The answer is C. Hot-cold. A hot-cold aisle design is a widely used method in data centers to optimize cooling and manage thermal dissipation efficiently. This setup aligns server racks in alternating rows where the fronts of one row, known as the cold aisle, face the fronts of another, while the backs, known as the hot aisle, face the backs of another. This arrangement ensures that cold air from air conditioning systems is directed to server intakes, while hot exhaust air is expelled into separate aisles to prevent recirculation. This design significantly improves airflow, reduces cooling costs, and prevents equipment overheating. Question 105. A user reports no network access. The administrator checks the Ethernet cable, which is securely connected and in good condition, but the port's indicator lights are off on both the workstation and the switch. Which of the following is the most likely cause? The answer is D. The port is shut down. If the port's indicator lights are off, the port is likely administratively shut down. To address this issue, the administrator can start by checking the switch's settings using commands like show interface status or show running config to verify the port's current state. If the port is disabled, it can be re-enabled by issuing the appropriate command such as no shutdown to restore connectivity. Question 106. Which of the following dynamic routing protocols provides fast convergence and prevents routing loops by using a link state algorithm? The answer is C. OSPF. OSPF, or Open Shortest Path First, is a link state routing protocol designed for fast convergence and loop-free routing. It dynamically recalculates routes when network changes occur, ensuring quick adaptation. OSPF prevents loops by maintaining a complete map of the network topology and using the Dijkstra algorithm to determine the shortest path. It is widely used in enterprise and service provider networks due to its scalability and efficiency. Question 107. Which of the following best describes the role of a management information base in relation to SNMP? The answer is C. Hierarchical database of SNMP objects. A management information base, or MIB, is a definition file for event translation used in SNMP to structure and organize network device information. It acts as the hierarchical database that assigns unique object identifiers known as OIDs to various network components, allowing for efficient retrieval and modification of device settings. This enables SNMP to monitor, manage, and translate event data from network devices into a standardized format for easier interpretation and automation in enterprise environments. Question 108. A network administrator identifies that a critical infrastructure switch has reached its end-of-support phase. Which of the following is the best action to maintain security and operational integrity? The answer is B. Decommission and replace the switch. When a device reaches end of support, it no longer receives security patches, bug fixes, or technical support from the vendor, making it a significant security risk. The best course of action is to decommission and replace the switch, ensuring continued security and compliance with best practices. Continuing to use unsupported hardware leaves the network vulnerable to exploits and operational failures. Question 109. The company's marketing team launched a new web service and needs to create a DNS record for app.certificationcynergy.com that always resolves to the same address as www.certificationcynergy.com. Which of the following records should the administrator use? The answer is D. CNAME. A CNAME, or canonical name record, is used in DNS to create an alias for another domain name, ensuring that multiple domain names resolve to the same IP address. This is particularly useful for maintaining consistent web services, load balancing, and simplifying DNS management. When the target domain's IP address changes, the alias automatically updates without requiring modifications to multiple DNS records. Question 110. A network administrator is designing a corporate network with segmented security zones. The goal is to restrict access so that only employees within the organization can connect to critical internal systems. Which of the following security zones should be used? The answer is A. Trusted. A trusted security zone is used to protect internal corporate resources by allowing access only to authenticated users within the organization. This zone is typically secured behind firewalls and is separate from external-facing networks such as the extranet or DMZ. By implementing a trusted zone, businesses ensure that critical systems and data remain accessible only to employees, minimizing exposure to external threats. Question 111. Which of the following network devices is responsible for converting wireless radio signals into wired network signals for communication within a LAN? The answer is C. Access point. An access point, or AP for short, acts as a bridge between wireless devices and a wired network. It converts radio frequency signals from wireless clients into standard Ethernet signals for communication within a local area network. This functionality enables devices such as laptops, smartphones, and IoT devices to access the network without physical cables. Question 112. Employees using the office Wi-Fi experience slow performance and buffering when working from an outdoor seating area. Which of the following is the most likely cause? The answer is A. Signal degradation. Signal degradation occurs when users move farther away from an access point, especially when obstacles such as walls, glass, or other forms of interference weaken the signal. The farther a user is from the access point, the weaker the signal strength, leading to slower speeds, increased latency, and connection drops. To mitigate this issue, organizations can install additional access points, deploy range extenders, or adjust the placement of existing access points for better coverage. Question 113. A company wants to assess its disaster recovery plan by involving teams from multiple departments in a structured discussion. Which of the following methods would be the best way to achieve this? The answer is D. Tabletop exercise. A tabletop exercise is a structured discussion where representatives from different departments review and evaluate procedures without actually executing them. These exercises help identify gaps in the procedures, improve coordination among teams, and ensure everyone understands their roles in the event of a disaster. They are a cost-effective way to test an organization's preparedness before conducting more extensive live drills. Question 114. Which of the following routing protocols uses an autonomous system number to manage network routing? The answer is A. BGP. BGP, or Border Gateway Protocol, relies on autonomous system numbers, known as ASNs, to identify and manage routing between networks, especially across the public internet. ASNs differentiate individual networks, enabling routers to determine the most efficient path for data transmission between autonomous systems. This protocol plays a crucial role in directing traffic between ISPs, large enterprises, and data centers, ensuring stable and scalable internet routing. Question 115. Which of the following is true about the application layer in the OSI model? The answer is D. It relies on lower layers for packet delivery. In the OSI model, each layer depends on the layers below it to perform specific tasks. The application layer provides services directly to user applications but does not handle packet delivery itself. Instead, each layer builds on the functionality of the one below it, ensuring efficient data communication. Question 116. Which of the following IP transmission types is part of IPsec, providing authentication and integrity, but no encryption? The answer is B. AH. AH, short for Authentication Header, is a component of the IPsec protocol suite designed to provide authentication and integrity for IP packets. It ensures that data has not been altered in transit and verifies the sender's identity using cryptographic hashes. However, AH does not encrypt data, meaning the payload remains visible, making it suitable for scenarios where integrity is crucial but confidentiality is not a requirement. Question 117. Which of the following authentication protocols is specifically designed for network access control and allows users to authenticate to a wireless network using company credentials? The answer is D. Radius. Radius, or Remote Authentication Dial-in User Service, is specifically designed for network access control, making it the best choice for authenticating users on a wireless network using company credentials. Unlike LDAP, which is primarily a directory service, or Kerberos, which is used for security, OAuth, on the other hand, is commonly used for web-based authentication and authorization rather than wireless network access. Question 118. A network engineer migrated to a new mail server and updated the MX record. The change was verified and the server was reachable by its A record, but users are not receiving emails. What should have been done to prevent this issue? The answer is C. Lower the TTL value. Lowering the TTL, or time to live value, before making DNS changes minimizes propagation delays. When an MX record is updated, DNS servers and clients may still cache the old record until the previous TTL expires, delaying mail delivery. Reducing the TTL ahead of time forces a quicker update across DNS servers, ensuring faster resolution of the new mail server's address. Question 119. Which of the following is essential when integrating operational technology devices into an organization's network to enhance security and minimize risks? The answer is A. Implement network segmentation. Network segmentation is a key security measure for SCADA, ICS, and OT environments. These systems control critical infrastructure and industrial processes, making them high-value targets for cyber threats. By segmenting these networks from IT and public-facing systems, organizations can reduce attack surfaces, prevent lateral movement in case of a breach, and enforce strict access controls. Question 120. A company wants to adopt cloud services to improve scalability while keeping critical workloads within its on-site data center. Which of the following cloud deployment models best meets this requirement? The answer is B. Hybrid. A hybrid cloud model combines on-premises infrastructure with cloud services, providing flexibility and scalability while maintaining control over critical workloads. This setup allows organizations to run essential services locally for performance and security while leveraging the cloud for cost-effective scalability and mobility. Question 121. Which of the following metrics measures the average time required to restore a failed device to full functionality? The answer is D. MTTR. MTTR, or mean time to repair, is the average time required to restore a system, device, or service after a failure. It includes the time taken to diagnose, fix, and verify the resolution of the issue. A lower MTTR indicates a faster recovery process, which is crucial for minimizing downtime in critical network environments. Question 122. A network rack contains multiple servers and switches, each with dual power supplies. Currently, only one PDU is installed. What is the primary reason for adding a second PDU? The answer is C. Enhancing power redundancy. Adding a second PDU or power distribution unit is essential for power redundancy, ensuring that devices with dual power supplies remain operational even if one PDU or power source fails. In enterprise environments, this setup is a critical component of high-availability strategies, reducing the risk of downtime caused by power failures, maintenance, or unexpected disruptions. By connecting each power supply of a device to a different PDU, the risk of single points of failure is minimized, improving system reliability and fault tolerance. Question 123. Which of the following provides a controlled access point for administrators to securely connect to an isolated device on a standalone network? The answer is A. Jump box. A jump box is a secure intermediary system used to access devices on an isolated or standalone network. It reduces direct exposure to critical systems by acting as a controlled access point requiring authentication before connecting to internal resources. This enhances security and limits unauthorized access. Question 124. Early in the morning, an administrator installs a new DHCP server. In the afternoon, some users report network outages. Which of the following is the most likely issue? The answer is A. Not enough IP addresses. If the DHCP server's scope does not include enough IP addresses, new or rebooted devices will be unable to obtain an address, causing network outages. This typically occurs when the DHCP scope is too small to accommodate all clients. To resolve the issue, the administrator should expand the scope by increasing the available IP address range. Question 125. A network engineer is troubleshooting a voice over IP issue. When users upload large files, voice quality degrades, but when no other traffic is present, voice quality is fine. Which of the following should the engineer do to resolve the issue? The answer is C. Configure QoS on the router. QoS, or quality of service, allows you to prioritize voice over IP traffic over other types of data, ensuring voice packets are transmitted with minimal delay and packet loss. Without QoS, large file uploads can consume available bandwidth, leading to latency and jitter in voice over IP calls. Configuring QoS on the router will help maintain call quality even during high network usage. Question 126. Which disaster recovery metric defines the maximum amount of data loss measured from the last successful backup? The answer is B. RPO. RPO, or Recovery Point Objective, determines how much data an organization can afford to lose before it significantly impacts operations. It defines the maximum acceptable time between data backups, ensuring that in the event of a failure, the amount of lost data remains within business continuity tolerances. A lower RPO requires more frequent backups to minimize potential data loss, while a higher RPO may be acceptable for less critical systems. Question 127. A network administrator wants to detect unusual network activity more effectively. Which of the following should the administrator do first? The answer is A. Establish baseline metrics. To detect unusual activity, the administrator must first establish baseline metrics that define normal network behavior. This includes tracking traffic patterns, bandwidth usage, response times, and typical communication flows over time. Without a baseline, it becomes difficult to determine whether an observed anomaly is a legitimate concern or standard network activity. Question 128. A network administrator is troubleshooting DHCP issues at a growing office. As new employees join, some users report they are unable to obtain an IP address. Which of the following should the administrator do to resolve the issue? The answer is C. Increase the scope size. If a DHCP scope runs out of available IP addresses, new devices will fail to obtain an address, preventing network access. Expanding the scope size by increasing the available IP range allows the DHCP server to accommodate more devices, ensuring all users can connect to the network. If the subnet design limits expansion, reconfiguring the addressing scheme may also be necessary. Question 129. Which of the following is responsible for distributing incoming network traffic across multiple servers to optimize performance and availability? The answer is A. Load balancer. A load balancer distributes network traffic across multiple servers, ensuring no single server becomes overwhelmed. This improves performance, enhances redundancy, and provides failover capabilities in case a server goes offline. Load balancers can operate at different layers of the OSI model, directing traffic based on factors like server health, response time, or geographic location. Question 130. A user recently moved a wired workstation to a different part of the office. The user can access the internet and printer but can no longer reach internal server resources. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the issue? The answer is D. Wrong VLAN assignment. When a wired workstation is moved to a different part of the office, it connects to a new network jack, which leads to a different switch port. Since VLAN assignments are configured at the switch port level, if the new port is not assigned to the correct VLAN, the workstation will be placed in a different network segment. This misconfiguration can restrict access to internal resources, such as file servers and internal applications, while still allowing access to shared services like the internet and network printers. Question 131. A network administrator needs to expand the IP address pool by adding at least 250 usable IP addresses. The network is currently using a /24 subnet. Which of the following subnet masks would meet this requirement? The answer is A. /23. The /24 subnet provides 256 total addresses, with 254 usable addresses after reserving one for the network ID and one for the broadcast address. To add 250 more usable addresses, a larger subnet is required. A /23 subnet provides 512 total addresses, with 510 of those addresses being usable, which is sufficient to accommodate the additional 250 IP addresses needed for this scenario. Question 132. Which of the following enables multiple internal devices to share a single public IP address for outbound internet traffic? The answer is B. NAT. NAT, or Network Address Translation, allows multiple devices within a private network to share a single public IP address when accessing external resources. The common implementation of NAT is Port Address Translation, or PAT, which maps multiple private IP addresses to a single public IP by assigning unique port numbers to each connection. This ensures that return traffic is properly routed to the correct internal device while conserving public IPv4 addresses. Question 133. Which troubleshooting step involves gathering system logs, reviewing recent changes, and identifying symptoms to determine the issue? The answer is A. Identify the problem. The identify the problem stage is the first step in the troubleshooting methodology. It includes gathering information such as system logs, questioning users about the issue, and identifying symptoms. Additionally, it involves determining if any recent changes were made that could have caused the issue, attempting to duplicate the problem, and addressing multiple issues separately if needed. Proper identification ensures that the root cause is understood before you move forward with troubleshooting and resolution. Question 134. Which VPN configuration allows internet-bound traffic to bypass the VPN while still securing corporate traffic? The answer is C. Split tunnel. Split tunneling allows VPN users to send corporate traffic through the encrypted VPN tunnel while routing internet-bound traffic directly to the internet. This reduces bandwidth usage on the VPN, improves performance for general web browsing, and prevents unnecessary congestion on corporate network resources. However, it also introduces security risks as internet traffic bypasses corporate security controls, making devices more vulnerable to threats like malware, phishing, and man-in-the-middle attacks. Question 135. Which default port is used to establish a secure connection to an LDAP directory service? The answer is D. 636. Port 636 is the default port for LDAP-S, or Lightweight Directory Access Protocol Secure, which encrypts LDAP communications using SSL/TLS. Unlike port 389, which is used for standard LDAP and transmits data in plain text, LDAP-S ensures secure authentication and data exchange, protecting against eavesdropping and man-in-the-middle attacks. Question 136. A network engineer configures a new switch and connects it to an existing switch for expansion and redundancy. Users immediately lose connectivity to the network. The network engineer checks spanning tree protocol and notes that all ports are in a forward state on both switches. Which of the following best describes the issue? The answer is C. Root bridge has not been identified. In spanning tree protocol, the root bridge is responsible for managing network topology and preventing loops by designating which ports remain in a forwarding or blocking state. If no root bridge has been identified, all ports remain in forwarding mode, leading to a switching loop that floods the network with broadcast traffic and causes connectivity loss. To fix this issue, the engineer must ensure that spanning tree protocol is enabled and that the switches properly elect a root bridge based on the lowest bridge priority and MAC address. Question 137. A network administrator is segmenting the network to create security zones for each department, ensuring that only authorized traffic flows between them. Which of the following should the administrator use to accomplish this task? The answer is A. ACLs. ACLs, or access control lists, are used to define and enforce traffic rules between different security zones by allowing or denying access based on IP addresses, ports, and protocols. By implementing ACLs on routers or firewalls, the administrator can control which departments can communicate with each other while restricting unauthorized access, improving network security and segmentation. Question 138. Which of the following link state routing protocols use a hierarchical design with backbone and area zones to improve scalability? The answer is C. OSPF. OSPF, or Open Shortest Path First, is a link state routing protocol that organizes networks into areas to improve efficiency and scalability. The backbone area, Area 0, connects all other areas, ensuring optimal routing between them. This hierarchical design reduces routing overhead, speeds up convergence, and minimizes unnecessary routing updates. OSPF also supports route summarization between areas to enhance performance in large networks. Question 139. Which of the following secure remote access protocols operates on port 22 by default? The answer is D. SSH. SSH, or Secure Shell, is a cryptographic protocol that provides secure remote access and command execution on network devices and servers. It operates on port 22 by default and encrypts all communication to protect against eavesdropping and unauthorized access. SSH ensures data confidentiality and integrity using encryption algorithms like AES and authentication methods such as public key cryptography. Question 140. After changes were made to a firewall, users report that they can no longer access a web server. A network administrator needs to verify if ports 80 and 443 are still open and accessible from the user IP space. Which of the following commands is best suited for this task? The answer is D. Nmap. Nmap, short for Network Mapper, is a network scanning tool that allows administrators to check the status of open ports on a target system. By using Nmap to scan for port 80 and port 443, the administrator can determine if the firewall changes are blocking web traffic. Additionally, Nmap provides detailed insights into whether ports are open, closed, or filtered, helping diagnose connectivity issues more effectively than basic tools like ping or traceroute. Question 141. Several employees have reported intermittent network issues. Upon investigation, IT discovered multiple devices with duplicate IP addresses. Further investigation reveals an unauthorized system assigning IPs on the network. Which of the following attacks is most likely the cause? The answer is A. Rogue DHCP server. A rogue DHCP server attack occurs when a malicious actor sets up an unauthorized DHCP server to assign incorrect or duplicate IP addresses to network clients. This can cause IP conflicts, disrupt connectivity, misroute traffic, or facilitate man-in-the-middle attacks by directing users to attacker-controlled gateways. Attackers may use this technique to intercept sensitive data or deny service to legitimate users. Enabling DHCP snooping on switches can prevent this attack by filtering out unauthorized DHCP responses. Question 142. An organization is looking to improve network visibility by implementing a solution that can monitor multiple vendors and operating systems, collect data in real time, and correlate information for analysis. Which of the following best meets these requirements? The answer is B. SIEM. An SIEM, or Security Information and Event Management System, provides real-time data collection, correlation, and analysis across multiple vendors and operating systems. It centralizes log data from various network devices, servers, and applications, allowing for anomaly detection and rapid threat identification. By analyzing patterns across different data sources, an SIEM enhances network visibility, streamlines incident response, and improves overall security posture. Question 143. An administrator is evaluating authentication options for SNMP. Which of the following is the most secure method? The answer is B. SNMP version 3 with authentication and encryption. SNMP version 3 is the most secure version of SNMP as it supports authentication, encryption, and message integrity. Unlike other versions of SNMP, which rely on plaintext community strings, SNMP version 3 comes with various options for authentication and encryption. This ensures that SNMP communications are protected from interception and unauthorized access. Question 144. A company has noticed increased user access to gambling websites and wants to restrict this activity on company computers. Which of the following is the best solution? The answer is C. Content filtering. A content filter is designed to block access to specific websites based on categories, keywords, or domains. By implementing content filtering at the firewall or proxy level, the company can prevent employees from accessing gambling websites while allowing legitimate business traffic. Unlike ACLs, which control network traffic based on IP addresses and ports, content filtering provides granular control over web traffic based on URL categorization and deep packet inspection. Question 145. During a scheduled network upgrade, all RJ45 cables were replaced in a data center to improve performance. Soon after, an administrator notices network issues, including intermittent connectivity and degraded speeds. Which of the following is the most likely cause for the network issues? The answer is D. The STP cables were accidentally replaced with UTP cables. In a high-interference environment like a data center, replacing shielded twisted pair cables with unshielded twisted pair cables can degrade network performance. Shielded cables help reduce electromagnetic interference from power cables, motors, and other electrical sources. Without shielding, signals can become corrupted, leading to packet loss, slower speeds, and unstable connectivity. Question 146. Which of the following also provides a security feature by masking internal IP addresses when implemented? The answer is A. NAT. NAT, short for Network Address Translation, provides a security feature by hiding internal IP addresses from external networks. When implemented, NAT translates private IP addresses to a single or a few public IP addresses, preventing direct access to internal devices from the internet. This adds a layer of security by making it more difficult for attackers to map internal network structures. While NAT is not a dedicated security solution, it inherently acts as a basic firewall by limiting direct inbound connections. Question 147. Which of the following describes a transport layer unit used in connectionless communication? The answer is A. Datagram. A datagram is the fundamental unit of data transmission used by UDP at the transport layer in a connectionless communication model. Unlike TCP, which establishes a connection before transmitting data, UDP sends datagrams without prior negotiation. Question 148. Which type of storage solution is commonly used with fiber channel technology and is designed to provide high scalability for enterprise environments? The answer is D. SAN. A SAN or storage area network is a highly scalable, high-performance storage solution commonly used in enterprise environments. It often utilizes fiber channel as its primary transport protocol, enabling fast, low-latency data transfers between servers and storage devices. By leveraging fiber channel switches and host bus adapters, a SAN allows multiple servers to access shared storage with high availability and redundancy. Question 149. A company hosts its web application in the cloud and experiences fluctuating traffic throughout the day. The cloud infrastructure automatically adjusts computing resources to handle peak loads and reduces resources when demand decreases. Which of the following best describes this cloud characteristic? The answer is B. Elasticity. Elasticity in cloud computing refers to the ability to automatically scale computing resources up or down to handle fluctuating demand in real time. This is particularly useful for applications that experience temporary spikes in traffic, such as e-commerce websites during sales events or streaming platforms during major broadcasts. Unlike scalability, which focuses on long-term resource expansion, elasticity allows rapid adjustments for short-term demand changes, ensuring cost efficiency and optimal performance. Question 150. A systems administrator is troubleshooting an issue where an external service is failing to verify the hostname of an internal mail server. The administrator suspects that the issue is related to DNS resolution. Which of the following types of DNS records should be checked to ensure the hostname properly resolves to its corresponding IP address? The answer is D. PTR. A PTR or pointer record is a type of reverse DNS record that maps an IP address to a host name. It is essential for services that require validation of an IP's associated domain, such as email servers performing spam filtering and security checks. If a mail server's PTR record is missing or misconfigured, external services may reject email originating from that server. Ensuring that the PTR record correctly maps the IP address to the mail server's hostname helps the proper domain verification and email deliverability. Question 151. A network administrator notices virtual machines on the same subnet exchanging data and is concerned about lateral movement within the network. Which of the following best describes this type of traffic flow? The answer is C. East-west. East-west traffic refers to data exchange between systems within the same network, such as communication between virtual machines on the same subnet. This type of traffic is common in data centers and cloud environments but can pose security risks if not monitored properly, as attackers can exploit lateral movement to spread within a network. Unlike north-south traffic, which flows between internal and external networks, east-west traffic stays within the internal network boundary. Question 152. A company experiences a system failure, preventing employees from accessing critical business files. Which security principle has been violated? The answer is C. Availability. Availability is one of the three core principles of the CompTIA triad, ensuring that systems, applications, and data remain accessible when needed. When a system failure prevents employees from accessing critical business files, it directly violates availability. To mitigate such risks, organizations implement redundant infrastructure, fault-tolerant systems, backup solutions, and disaster recovery plans to maintain continuous operations and minimize downtime. Question 153. A company lacks documentation of its existing network infrastructure. Which method would best identify all connected devices? The answer is A. Network discovery. Network discovery is the process of identifying all devices connected to a network, including workstations, servers, and networking equipment. This method provides administrators with critical details such as IP addresses, host names, and device types, helping to document an otherwise unknown infrastructure. Protocols like Cisco Discovery Protocol and Link Layer Discovery Protocol allow devices to share information about their presence and connections, making them valuable tools for mapping the network efficiently. Question 154. A network administrator is configuring a multicast network for streaming media. Which of the following address ranges should be used? The answer is D. 224.0.0.0/24. The 224.0.0.0/24 subnet belongs to the Class D IPv4 address range, which is specifically reserved for multicast traffic. Unlike unicast, where data is sent from one source to one destination, or broadcast, which sends data to all devices on a network, multicast allows a single source to efficiently transmit data to multiple destinations at the same time. Question 155. A remote employee needs to access an internal corporate application through a web browser without installing additional VPN software. The connection is encrypted using TLS. Which of the following best describes this type of VPN? The answer is B. Clientless. A clientless VPN enables secure access to internal corporate resources through a web browser, eliminating the need for dedicated VPN client software. These VPNs typically utilize TLS to encrypt communication, allowing users to access specific applications without requiring full network access. Question 156. A network administrator is implementing a disaster recovery plan that involves an off-site facility. The facility has basic infrastructure but still requires new hardware installation and configuration, which would take several weeks to become fully operational. Which of the following best describes this type of DR site? The answer is A. Cold site. A cold site is a disaster recovery facility that has basic infrastructure such as power and network connectivity, but does not have pre-installed hardware or actively running systems. Because new equipment must be installed and configured before it can be fully operational, recovery at a cold site can take days or even weeks. This makes it a cost-effective but slower recovery option compared to warm or hot sites. Question 157. A company wants to restrict access to malicious or non-work-related websites without altering network infrastructure or traffic flow. Which solution would best meet this requirement? The answer is B. DNS filtering. DNS filtering is a security solution that blocks access to malicious or inappropriate websites by filtering DNS queries based on reputation and categorization. Since it operates at the domain level, it does not require changes to network traffic flow or routing policies. Instead, it prevents access to restricted domains by responding with a blocked or redirected DNS result. This makes DNS filtering an efficient, scalable, and non-intrusive solution for enforcing internet access policies. Question 158. A company wants to optimize its Wi-Fi network by ensuring client devices automatically connect to the least congested and fastest frequency band available. Which of the following technologies should be implemented? The answer is A. Band steering. Band steering is a wireless technology that encourages dual-band and tri-band client devices to connect to the less congested 5 GHz or 6 GHz band instead of the more crowded 2.4 GHz band. It does this by delaying responses to connection requests on the 2.4 GHz band, nudging capable devices toward alternate bands for improved performance and reduced interference. This helps optimize network efficiency, minimize congestion, and improve overall wireless performance in environments with many devices. Question 159. The network administrator has completed troubleshooting a connectivity issue affecting multiple users. The administrator identified the root cause, implemented a fix, and verified that all systems are operating normally. Which of the following steps should be performed next? The answer is C. Document findings. In the CompTIA troubleshooting methodology, once a solution has been applied and full system functionality has been verified, the next step is to document findings, actions taken, and results. This ensures that the resolution is recorded for future reference, allowing administrators to quickly resolve similar issues in the future. Proper documentation also supports organizational policies, compliance requirements, and knowledge sharing among IT teams. Question 160. A network administrator applies updates to a Layer 3 switch. After the update, users report they can no longer access a shared database server. Which of the following is the most likely cause? The answer is D. Incorrect ACLs. Access control lists on a Layer 3 switch serve as a critical security measure by filtering traffic based on IP addresses, protocols, and ports. When configured correctly, ACLs help control network access and enforce security policies. However, if misconfigured, ACLs can inadvertently block legitimate traffic, preventing users from reaching essential resources such as a database or file server. Question 161. A network administrator needs to centralize log collection for all web servers to improve monitoring and troubleshooting. The solution must send event data over port 514 to a dedicated log server. Which of the following services will best accomplish this task? The answer is B. Syslog. Syslog is a standardized logging protocol used to collect and transmit event messages from network devices, servers, and applications to a centralized log server. It operates over port 514 and allows administrators to monitor system activity, detect issues, and ensure compliance. By implementing Syslog, all web servers can send logs in real time to a central repository, enabling better visibility and analysis of system events. Question 162. A security administrator wants to detect and analyze new attack techniques before they can target the corporate network. Which of the following security mechanisms would best help accomplish this? The answer is C. Honeypot. A honeypot is a security mechanism designed to attract, detect, and analyze malicious activity by simulating a vulnerable system. Attackers, including those using zero-day exploits, may attempt to compromise the honeypot, allowing security teams to observe their techniques and develop countermeasures. While solutions like next-generation firewalls and intrusion prevention systems can detect threats, a honeypot is specifically designed to study attacker behavior and uncover unknown threats in a controlled environment. Question 163. A network administrator is troubleshooting a network issue and needs to determine which switch port a specific PC is connected to. After using the show arc command to find the MAC address associated with the PC's IP address, which of the following commands should be used next? The answer is C. Show MAC address table. The Show MAC address table command is used to display the MAC address table on a switch, showing which MAC addresses are associated with specific switch ports. After using Show Arc to identify the PC's MAC address, the administrator can use Show MAC address table to determine the exact switch port the PC is connected to. This helps in troubleshooting connectivity issues or verifying physical connections within the network. Question 164. A remote employee frequently accesses the company's intranet site to download internal documents. Today, after typing the usual web address, they are redirected to a website that looks similar but is prompting them to enter login credentials again. Which of the following is the most likely cause? The answer is D. DNS poisoning. DNS poisoning occurs when an attacker manipulates DNS records to redirect users to a fraudulent website. In this case, the employee is unknowingly sent to a malicious duplicate of the company's intranet, which could be used for credential theft or malware distribution. Question 165. A network engineer is designing an enterprise network using a three-tier hierarchical model. When following a bottom-up approach, which of the following is the correct sequence of layers in the three-tier architecture? The answer is A. Access, distribution, and core. The three-tier hierarchical model consists of access, distribution, and core layers. The access layer connects end-user devices to the network. The distribution layer aggregates traffic, applies policies, and routes between VLANs. The core layer provides high-speed backbone connectivity. The bottom-up approach starts from the access layer and moves upwards, ensuring a scalable and efficient network design. Question 166. A company is deploying SD-WAN routers to multiple branch offices. To streamline the installation process, they want the routers to be shipped directly to the sites without requiring on-site configuration by IT staff. Which feature enables this capability? The answer is C. Zero-touch provisioning. Zero-touch provisioning allows ZTP-capable network devices to be deployed with minimal manual intervention. Once the device is powered on and connected to the network, it automatically retrieves its configuration from a central controller. This eliminates the need for IT personnel to configure each device manually, speeding up deployments and reducing operational costs. Question 167. A network administrator is troubleshooting slow performance and packet loss on a switch. Some interfaces show an increasing count of giant frames in the logs, and users report intermittent connectivity issues. Which of the following is the most likely cause? The answer is A. Mismatched MTU settings. Giant frames are Ethernet frames that exceed the default maximum transmission unit size of 1500 bytes on a network. If MTU settings are mismatched between switch interfaces or devices, packets larger than 1500 bytes may be dropped or fragmented, causing increased latency, retransmissions, and network instability. Some networks may support jumbo frames, but all devices must be configured accordingly to avoid issues. Question 168. A network administrator is analyzing a routing table and notices multiple entries for the same subnet. Which of the following types of routes will take precedence when determining the best path? The answer is A. Static. Routing decisions are based on administrative distance, which determines the trustworthiness of a route. Static routes have a lower administrative distance than dynamically learned routes such as BGP, OSPF, or default routes. Because of this, a manually configured static route will always take precedence over dynamic routing protocols for the same subnet, unless overridden by a more specific route. Question 169. A user reports connecting to a familiar Wi-Fi network, but after logging in, they notice unusual activity, such as unexpected pop-ups and login prompts for various services. Upon investigation, it is discovered that the Wi-Fi network was an attacker-controlled rogue access point mimicking a legitimate SID. Which of the following best describes this type of attack? The answer is C. Evil twin. An evil twin attack occurs when an attacker sets up a rogue Wi-Fi access point with the same SSID as a legitimate network to trick users into connecting. Once connected, the attacker can intercept sensitive information such as login credentials and personal data, or inject malicious content into the victim's traffic. This type of attack is particularly effective in public spaces where users frequently connect to open Wi-Fi networks, making it difficult to distinguish between a legitimate and a fraudulent access point. Question 170. Which of the following subnet masks corresponds to a /28 CIDR notation? The answer is C. 255.255.255.240. The /28 subnet mask corresponds to 255.255.255.240, which provides 16 total IP addresses, 14 usable, with 1 reserved for the network address and 1 for the broadcast address. Insider notation, the /28 represents the number of bits set to 1 in the subnet mask. This notation directly translates to the dotted decimal value of 255.255.255.240. Question 171. A network administrator is investigating connectivity issues between multiple switches in a data center. Some devices are experiencing intermittent network drops, and the administrator suspects a faulty uplink cable. To identify which switch port the problematic cable is connected to, which of the following is the best tool to use? The answer is B. LODP. LODP, or Link Layer Discovery Protocol, is a Layer 2 protocol used to identify directly connected network devices and their associated interfaces. By enabling LODP, the administrator can gather information about neighboring devices, including their port assignments, system names, and capabilities. This makes it easier to trace connections and locate the faulty uplink cable without needing to access each switch manually. Question 172. Which of the following describes a key distinction between end-of-life and end-of-support? The answer is A. End-of-life ends sales but may still have support. End-of-life means a product is no longer sold, but the manufacturer may still provide updates, patches, or support for a limited time. End-of-support indicates that all official updates, technical assistance, and security patches have ceased, making the product potentially vulnerable to security risks. Question 173. A company wants to ensure continuous operations in the event of a major outage. Which of the following backup site strategies would provide the fastest recovery time? The answer is C. Hot site. A hot site is a fully operational backup facility that is pre-configured with the necessary hardware, software, and data synchronization to take over operations immediately after a failure. This makes it the fastest recovery option compared to warm sites and cold sites. Question 174. Which type of DNS record is used to map a domain name to an IPv6 address? The answer is C. Quad A record. The Quad A record is a DNS record that maps a domain name to an IPv6 address. Unlike an A record, which is used for IPv4 addresses, the Quad A record ensures that domains can be resolved for devices using IPv6 connectivity. Question 175. How many non-overlapping 22 MHz channels are available in the 2.4 GHz spectrum? The answer is C. 3. The 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi band consists of 11 channels in North America. However, due to overlapping frequencies, only 3 channels, 1, 6, and 11, are considered non-overlapping when using 22 MHz wide signals. These channels are commonly used to minimize interference in environments with multiple access points operating on the same frequency band. Question 176. A company wants to authenticate the sender of incoming emails to prevent spoofing and phishing attacks. Which type of DNS record is used for this purpose? The answer is A. TXT. A TXT record in DNS can store text-based information, including email authentication mechanisms such as SPF, Sender Policy Framework, DKIM, Domain Keys Identified Mail, and DMARC, Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting, and Conformance. These mechanisms help verify that an email originates from an authorized mail server, reducing spam and phishing risks. Question 177. Which of the following is primarily used to isolate and segment cloud resources within a public cloud environment? The answer is D. VPC. A VPC, or Virtual Private Cloud, is a logically isolated network within a public cloud provider's infrastructure. It allows users to segment and manage compute resources securely, defining subnets, routing policies, and access controls. This segmentation enhances security and performance by controlling how different cloud resources interact within a single cloud account. Question 178. Which of the following values is reduced with each hop by measuring the number of routers between two locations? The answer is D. TTL. TTL, short for time to live, is a field in an IP packet header that is decremented by 1 each time the packet passes through a router. This mechanism prevents packets from endlessly circulating in case of routing loops. When the TTL value reaches 0, the router discards the packet and sends an ICMP time-exceeded message back to the sender. Question 179. A remote worker is experiencing frequent disconnections and slow internet speeds while using Wi-Fi in their home office. A network technician remotely checks the received signal strength indicator on the user's device and finds it is negative 85 decibel milliwatts. Which of the following best explains the issue? The answer is A. The RSSI value indicates a weak signal. RSSI, or Received Signal Strength Indicator, measures the power level of a Wi-Fi signal at a receiving device with values represented in negative decibel milliwatts. A strong Wi-Fi signal typically falls between negative 30 decibel milliwatts to negative 65 decibel milliwatts, while anything less than negative 80 decibel milliwatts would be considered a poor connection, leading to connection drops, slow speeds, and unreliable performance. Question 180. Which of the following traffic types does a DHCP discover request from a workstation use? The answer is A. Broadcast. When a device first connects to a network and needs an IP address, it sends a DHCP discover message to locate a DHCP server. Since the device does not yet have an IP address, the request is sent as a broadcast to all devices on the local network. This ensures the DHCP server receives the request and can respond with an offer. Question 181. Which of the following security principles ensures that only authorized individuals can access data stored on a system? The answer is A. Confidentiality. Confidentiality refers to the protection of data from unauthorized access, ensuring that sensitive information is accessible only to those with the appropriate permissions. It is one of the 3 core principles of the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which forms the foundation of information security. This is typically enforced through encryption, access controls, and authentication mechanisms, which help prevent unauthorized users from viewing, modifying, or stealing sensitive data. Question 182. Several users in an organization report slow file transfers and intermittent connectivity issues when accessing a shared network drive. The network administrator investigates using a packet capture tool and observes missing sequence numbers and frequent TCP retransmissions. Which of the following is the most likely cause of these symptoms? The answer is A. Packet loss. Packet loss occurs when data packets fail to reach their destination, requiring TCP retransmissions to recover lost data. This results in slow performance, interrupted file transfers, and intermittent connectivity issues, as observed in the scenario. If packets are consistently dropped, the connection may struggle to remain stable. Question 183. A network technician is troubleshooting a connection issue in an office where multiple users have reported intermittent network outages. Upon inspection, the technician notices that several Ethernet cables are frayed and some are loosely connected to wall jacks. Which of the following OSI model layers is most closely tied to these connectivity issues? The answer is D. Physical layer. The physical layer. Layer 1 of the OSI model is responsible for the actual transmission of data over network media, including cables, connectors, and hardware interfaces. Issues like frayed cables, loose connections, signal interference, and faulty network ports directly impact this layer. Question 184. Which of the following statements is true regarding the difference between an IDS and an IPS? The answer is C. An IDS detects threats while an IPS can detect and prevent them. An IBS is a passive monitoring tool that identifies and alerts on suspicious activity but does not take direct action. In contrast, an IPS is active and can detect threats and take corrective actions, such as blocking malicious traffic or dropping packets. Question 185. Which cloud service model provides fully managed applications to users requiring no installation, maintenance, or infrastructure management? The answer is B. SaaS. Software as a service, or SaaS for short, delivers fully managed applications over the internet, allowing users to access software without worrying about installation, updates, or underlying infrastructure. These applications are hosted in the cloud and accessed through a web browser or client application, eliminating the need for local installations and manual maintenance. SaaS providers handle security, performance, updates, and scalability, ensuring users always have access to the latest features without requiring any backend management. Question 186. Which of the following port numbers are used by the DHCP protocol for assigning IP addresses to clients? The answer is B. 67 and 68. DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, uses two UDP ports to automate the assignment of IP addresses and network configurations to clients. UDP port 67 is used by the DHCP server to receive requests from clients, while UDP port 68 is used by the DHCP client to receive responses from the server. Question 187. A technician is setting up a new cable internet connection for a home office. After mounting the modem, they need to connect it to the incoming coaxial cable from the wall outlet. Which of the following connectors should the technician use? The answer is D. F-type. The F-type connector is a threaded coaxial connector primarily used for cable television, satellite TV, and broadband internet connections. It provides a secure connection by screwing onto the corresponding port, ensuring minimal signal loss and reducing the risk of disconnection. It is widely used in residential and commercial settings for transmitting RF signals over coaxial cables. Question 188. A company is expanding its cloud infrastructure and wants to automate the deployment and management of servers, networks, and storage using a predefined configuration instead of manual setups. Which of the following technologies best meets this requirement? The answer is C. IAC. IAC, or Infrastructure as Code, is a method of managing and provisioning IT infrastructure through machine-readable scripts or configuration files rather than manual processes. It allows for automated, consistent, and repeatable deployments by defining infrastructure in code, reducing human errors, and improving scalability. Question 189. A company is transitioning to IPv6 but still needs to support legacy IPv4 devices on its network. The network administrator wants a solution that allows both protocols to run simultaneously without additional encapsulation or translation. Which of the following would best meet this requirement? The answer is B. Dual stack. Dual stack is a networking method that enables devices to run both IPv4 and IPv6 at the same time. This allows seamless communication across both protocols without requiring translation or encapsulation, ensuring compatibility with legacy systems while supporting the transition to IPv6. With this method, every capable device will have both an IPv4 and an IPv6 address, allowing it to communicate natively over either protocol. Question 190. A router needs to forward traffic destined for 192.168.1.2. Which of the following route entries will the router select? The answer is D. 192.168.1.0/24. When a router has multiple route entries for the same destination, the first decision factor in route selection is the longest prefix length. The longer the prefix length, the more specific the route, and the router will always prefer the most specific match. In this case, the available routes are /16, /20, /22, and /24. Since /24 has the longest prefix length among them, is the most specific match for 192.168.1.2 and will be selected for forwarding traffic. Question 191. Which security standard is specifically designed to protect credit card transactions by enforcing data security measures such as encryption and access controls? The answer is C. PCI DSS. The Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI DSS for short, is a security standard designed to protect credit card data during storage, processing, and transmission. It mandates encryption, access controls, regular security testing, and network monitoring to reduce fraud and ensure compliance for businesses handling payment card transactions. Question 192. Which of the following statements is true regarding the difference between omnidirectional and directional antennas? The answer is A. Omnidirectional transmits in all directions. Omnidirectional antennas broadcast signals in all directions, making them ideal for general coverage in offices, public Wi-Fi, and outdoor areas. Directional antennas focus the signal in one direction, increasing range and strength for point-to-point links or targeted coverage. Because directional antennas concentrate the signal, they reduce interference and improve performance over long distances. Omnidirectional antennas, while providing broader coverage, may have weaker signals at greater distances compared to directional antennas. Question 193. Which of the following statements is true about access points? The answer is D. Autonomous APs work independently. Lightweight APs need a controller. Autonomous APs are standalone devices that function independently. These are best suited for small networks where centralized control is not required. Lightweight APs, on the other hand, rely on a wireless LAN controller to manage configurations, security policies, and updates. This makes them ideal for large-scale deployments, where centralized management ensures consistency, easier troubleshooting, and improved scalability. Question 194. A network administrator needs to configure gateway redundancy to ensure continuous network access if the primary router fails. Which of the following technologies would best meet this requirement? The answer is C. FHRP. FHRP, or First Hop Redundancy Protocol, provides gateway redundancy by allowing multiple routers to share a virtual IP address. If the primary router fails, another router automatically takes over, ensuring uninterrupted network access. This improves network reliability, prevents downtime, and ensures that devices always have a functional default gateway without requiring manual reconfiguration. Question 195. In a data center, the primary power source is lost and the facility transitions from utility power to a generator using an open transition. Which of the following devices ensures continuous power to critical equipment during this switchover? The answer is C. UPS. A UPS, or uninterruptible power supply, provides temporary backup power during power interruptions, ensuring continuous operation for connected devices. In an open transition where power momentarily drops while switching between sources, a UPS prevents unexpected shutdowns, data loss, and hardware failures. It acts as a bridge, supplying power until a stable source is restored or an orderly shutdown can occur. Question 196. A network administrator needs to configure a monitoring system to receive immediate alerts when a critical network device encounters an error or failure. Which of the following would best accomplish this? The answer is A. SNMP trap. An SNMP trap is an asynchronous notification sent from a network device to an SNMP management system when a specific event or failure occurs. Unlike SNMP polling, which requires the monitoring system to request data, traps allow devices to proactively report issues in real time, ensuring faster detection and response to critical events. Question 197. A network administrator wants devices to self-configure IPv6 addresses without using a DHCP server. The solution should allow devices to generate their own addresses based on router advertisements. Which of the following methods best meets this requirement? The answer is B. SLAC. SLAC, or Stateless Address Auto-Configuration, allows IPv6 devices to automatically generate their own addresses using information provided by a router advertisement. This eliminates the need for a DHCP server, making it a simple and efficient method for assigning IPv6 addresses in a network. Slack provides devices with a globally unique address and default gateway information while maintaining minimal administrative overhead. Question 198. A company wants to enforce security policies that restrict access to corporate applications based on a user's physical location. Which of the following technologies would best achieve this? The answer is A. Geofencing. Geofencing creates a virtual boundary around a specific geographic area, allowing systems to enforce location-based access controls. When a device enters or exits the defined area, actions such as granting or restricting access can be triggered. This is commonly used for security enforcement, asset tracking, and location-based authentication policies. Question 199. A security team discovers that sensitive company documents were retrieved from discarded trash bins outside the office. Which of the following social engineering attacks does this scenario describe? The answer is C. Dumpster diving. Dumpster diving is a social engineering attack where an attacker searches through discarded documents, hardware, or other materials to find sensitive information. This can include passwords, financial records, employee data, or proprietary business plans. Proper disposal methods, such as shredding documents and securely wiping storage devices, helps prevent this type of attack. Question 200. A network technician is troubleshooting intermittent wireless connectivity issues in an office. They suspect interference from nearby networks and need a tool to analyze signal strength, channel usage, and potential sources of interference. Which of the following tools would best help diagnose the issue? The answer is A. Wi-Fi analyzer. A Wi-Fi analyzer is used to scan wireless networks, providing insights into signal strength, channel utilization, interference, and overlapping networks. This helps technicians identify congested channels, road access points, and sources of interference, allowing them to optimize wireless performance and improve connectivity. Wow, you have completed 200 questions. How about one more question as a reward for your hard work? Question 201. A network technician needs to verify the IP address associated with a domain name and troubleshoot DNS resolution issues from the command line. Which of the following tools would best accomplish this task? The answer is D. NSLOOKUP. The NSLOOKUP command is used to query DNS servers and retrieve IP address information for a given domain name. It helps troubleshoot DNS resolution issues, verify domain to IP mappings, and check for misconfigured DNS settings. Congratulations on reaching the end of our CompTIA Network Plus practice exam. Your dedication and hard work are truly impressive. With this milestone behind you, you are now a bit closer to earning your Network Plus certification. The next step is to register for the official certification exam. While you've achieved so much already, some extra review can only help. So feel free to revisit our free training videos or take another shot at our practice exam anytime you want to ensure you're fully prepared. Remember, every step you take gets you closer to your goal. So stay confident, give it your best, and remember, we're rooting for you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more great content.